Hi everyone, it's time for another episode of Atoms for the Love of Movie Picks. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2015 movie Life on the Line. As you can see, starring John Travolta, Kate Bosworth, Sharon Stone, Devon Sawa, or Sawa, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. So the premise of this movie is basically it's about the real life workers and guys known as linemen. I mean, the characters are obviously fictional, at least I think they are, but the actual job or description, lineman, is a real thing. And it's basically about how these guys are like, the frontline guys when there's like a power outage, if there's like a storm going on, whatever the situation is, these guys are there to go in and fix the situation. And it's quite remarkable, what they do. And the fact that it's shows them as kind of like a frontline worker, kind of along the lines of a policeman or a fireman or an EMS, but it's portraying a different frontline worker than what you would think of other than those ones. It's really refreshing, and it was a neat take on it, something different to see rather than see those kind of portrayed in the front lines. So like I said, the movie is based on some actual facts, mostly about the linemen and what they do, as opposed to the characters. Starts out in Texas in 1999 and progresses through to the present day. It centers really about five linemen. You got John Travolta's character Bo. You got Devon Sawa's character Duncan. And then you've got his love interest, Bo's niece, and another lineman, Danny, his daughter, Bailey, played by Kate Bosworth. Pope Chop is another one of the featured linemen. You never really learn his actual name. The actor who plays him, you don't really recognize him. Same with the actor that plays Danny. You may recognize him from the movie, but not really as well known as, let's say, John Travolta or Devon Sawa or Kate Bosworth. And you've got Sharon Stone is in this movie as well, and she plays Duncan's mother in the movie. The other lineman, which I forgot to mention, is Eugene, and he's again played by an actor you don't really recognize. I think I may have seen him in one or two movies, but basically the premise of the movie, it starts out like I said, in 1999 in Texas. Danny, very early, it doesn't really ruin the movie to know this, very early on in the movie, he is tragically killed in the line of duty, while fixing the power grid in a storm. Bo is unfortunately there at the time it happens, and he's also, like I said, he's Danny's brother. Duncan and Eugene weren't there at the time. Pope Chop was there as well. They've been on the job for quite a while. And then basically, he's killed in the line of duty, and he's basically dead on the scene. But you see him basically being, implied. You see an ambulance. You don't really see him in the ambulance, but it's implied that he's in that ambulance, being rushed to the hospital. I guess they're trying to save his life. Tragically, his wife is rushing to the hospital to meet him there. Maybe say her last goodbye. She's in a really emotional state. She's not in a good way, and she's not paying attention while she's driving. And I forget if it's a stop sign or a red light, but she runs it and gets T-boned by a semi, and she dies. So basically, Bailey loses both her parents in one night at a very young age, and Bo steps up to take care of her. He's her biological uncle, but he becomes her surrogate father, basically. It's quite the story. I mean, it basically just sets the storyline for the movie as to why she's living with him and the connection that they share and everything, Bailey and Bo. And then of course, like I said, Bailey is Duncan's love interest, kind of an on and off thing again. And basically, you find out that Bailey is pregnant with Duncan's kid at one point in the movie. Another interesting fact you find out. Duncan is his father was a lineman, and he died in the line of duty. That was kind of interesting. And his mother, played by Sharon Stone, is basically really adamant about him becoming a lineman. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Duncan is basically I don't know if he's been released from prison or what his situation is, but he's basically like kind of down on his luck, not got a lot of money. He takes up this job as a lineman, and his mother really doesn't agree with it. She's very much against it. You know, and the company that they all work for as linemen, called the Elite Company, they have been tasked with upgrading this sector of power lines called Line 12. You know, it's over 30 years old. It's in desperate need of an upgrade, and that's part of the reason why Duncan is hired. He's actually a new hire when he gets hired at that point in the movie. In present day, him and Eugene, they're new hires. And that's part of the reason why they're being hired, is because they've been tasked with upgrading this power system. You know, and then you get to the climax of the movie is this big storm happens, and I think it happened in real life. Excuse me. You know, and it just creates havoc, knocks down all kinds of power lines. There's a train that derails. You know, the whole power goes out for the whole town that they're in Texas. So yeah, basically they're, you know, and Bo is who's actually the leader of this crew, becomes the leader of the crew after Danny dies. Is, you know, charged with taking his crew and trying to fix this whole mess that's going on. And at the end there, him and Duncan, you know, come together to they are sent to a substation to try and restore power to the sector, because something, I won't say what because I don't want to give too much away, but something happens to Bailey in the movie, and she ends up in the hospital, and they need to get the hospital's backup generator kicks out, so they need to get this power back on to help, you know, save her life. And you know, Duncan and Bo do end up saving the day, but it comes at a very high cost. I won't say too much because I don't want to give it away, but yeah, very, you know, it's great storyline. You know, for such a simple movie. I mean, it helps that you got some well-known actors who know what they're doing. But yeah, it's a great storyline, simple storyline, and very powerful. Makes you really feel for these guys, and you know, the work that they do is just so incredibly dangerous. And it gives you a real sense and eye-opening of what, you know, what they do on a daily basis. Yeah, so just one of the last little tidbit there. Right at the end of the movie, towards the end and during the credits, they play a song that I hadn't really heard before. It just like the title of the movie, "Life on the Line." Great song by it's by Fiona Cully, I think is her name, and Darius Rucker. So yeah, great song. Check it out if you haven't heard it before. In terms of you know, rating on this movie, it's rated 14A. I would say that's probably accurate. It's got some scenes in it that I wouldn't recommend for a younger audience. You know, some coarse language and a bit of violence and stuff like that. And, you know, some graphic scenes with the injuries pertaining to people getting killed on the job. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for an audience younger than 14A. Not really sure if it's available on any streaming platforms like Netflix or whatever, but definitely check it out if you can get yourself a copy. Highly recommend it. Yeah, I was quite surprised. I wasn't expecting the movie to be really bad, but it was better than I thought it was. And yeah, Life on the Line. Check it out. And you guys have yourself a good one, and we'll check you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.